Chinese dissident Chen Guangcheng has been living in the United States for just over a year now, but the blind lawyer says he is no closer to getting justice for crimes he says were committed and continue to be committed against his family. Well, Becky Anderson recently met Chen, who expressed his disappointment with both the U.S. and Chinese governments. But before we get to that interview, here's the story so far. A blind lawyer living in a small village in China's Shandong province. Yet when CNN tried to meet Chen Guangcheng back in February 2011, this is what happened.
This man has no authority. He has no authority to push us out of here. He is not a police officer. He has not shown any badge. He is not with any uniform.
Chen was meant to be a free man after serving 4 years for disrupting traffic and damaging property. He denied the charges and maintains he was imprisoned for campaigning against China's human rights record and one-child policy. For 18 months, he and his family were prisoners in their home, a plight that attracted the attention of actor Christian Bale, who was also assaulted as he tried to visit Chen.
Why can I not go visit this man?
I was held as the reinforcements arrived. They definitely wanted to try and hold me on the spot, but I realized that at the very least the camera was going to be taken and we would have no footage, and that was very much the point, that if we couldn't get in to see Chen himself, that we had to have footage to show to the world.
In April 2012, Chen made headlines himself, escaping his home and seeking refuge in the U.S. Embassy in Beijing. It led to a political firestorm, but within weeks, the U.S. and China made a deal, allowing Chen to move to New York. The activist says he also received assurances his family would be protected and that his case investigated.
I am very gratified to see that the Chinese government has been dealing with the situation with restraint and calm.
But in Chen's absence, his brother claimed he was beaten, and the activist's nephew was jailed for injuring officers the family alleges broke into their home.
My family is ruined, but I don't regret helping Guangcheng. We have done nothing illegal. He helped those in need, and at least we can answer to our conscience.
In the States, Chen has continued his fight for justice, and in October 2012 received a human rights award presented by Christian Bale. The U.S. Congress has also voiced its support for his cause.
When it comes to guaranteeing the freedom and dignity of all of our citizens, the Chinese government has a responsibility to do better. And the United States government has a responsibility to hold them to account.
A pledge Chen Guangcheng is now calling on the U.S. to keep. The self-taught lawyer was recently in London for the launch of an Amnesty International report on human rights, and he told Becky Anderson that his family is still being targeted by authorities back in China, and he accuses the U.S. of sitting on its hands.
You allege that members of your family have been subjected to systematic persecution since you left, allegations that in the past the Chinese authorities have denied. What evidence do you have?
Of course I have evidence. People can conclude from the facts. Since April, they've been constantly attacking my elder brother's home. They've thrown stones, bricks, dead chickens, dead ducks, and beer bottle bombs into the home at night. My fourth brother lived some 50 kilometers from our village. The tires of his car were slashed one night by someone with a pretty big knife. After he changed on new tires, they were slashed again. My elder brother's microblog account was cancelled in Beijing. Look, a small-time local hooligan just wouldn't have the power to cancel microblogs. This means the attacks were organised systematically.
Does any of this, though, surprise you? When you say you feel let down by Washington in that they are not doing enough to investigate what happened to you and indeed what is happening, it seems, to your extended family, what do you think Washington should do?
I think Washington can definitely do more on the human rights issue. We can see they've reached lots of unwritten understandings with the Chinese Communist Party. With these understandings, I think the United States is selling out its very foundations, like democracy, freedom and human rights. As we know, the Chinese Communist Party has not delivered on its promise to thoroughly investigate the criminal officials who persecuted me and my family in Shandong province over the past few years, and to resolve the case publicly. They also promised to ensure the safety and civil rights of my family and friends, but they've done none of these things. However, President Obama has agreed to the wishes of the Chinese Communist Party to not support me openly promoting human rights in the United States. In fact, he has fulfilled this demand very well. On this matter, the White House has never made any public announcements.
Are you saying that you feel that when it comes to human rights abuses and the protest of human rights abuses, that the Americans have sold out to the Chinese?
I wouldn't say it's a total sellout, but at the very least, the United States has not tried its best.
If you knew what would happen to your family, despite what you feel as a human being, why do you continue to do this?
When we are faced with evil, the best response is to say no. If you compromise with them, they ask for more. Today, you lower your head to him. Tomorrow, they will ask you to bow. The day after, they will ask you to kneel down.
Will you go back to China?
I think in the future I will return for sure. This period of history, where only a handful of people in China can decide the lives of more than 1 billion people, who can go abroad, who cannot, who can return, who cannot, this won't last for long.
Well, CNN reached out to Chinese authorities for reaction to Chen's claims, and here is what we have received. The director of the propaganda office in Shandong province, where Chen's village is located, said he was not aware of Chen's allegations. And the head of the propaganda office of the Yunnan County government denied the targeting of Chen's family, saying, quote, "It's not true, it's impossible."